Hey y'all, let's talk about something I know way too many people have tried, and that is cutting carbs. Look, I get it. You've been told over and over again, carbs are bad, so just get rid of the bread, get rid of the pizza, get rid of the rice. All of those things, your belly's gonna magically flatten, and the scale is finally gonna move. But here's the truth: that's not how it works. No sway, and especially during menopause. So this is the thing: when you cut carbs too low, your metabolism is actually slowing down. Your energy crashes, and your body actually starts to hold on to fat, and nobody got time for that. So, and not just hold on to fat in general, it's holding on to fat around your belly. So, the more you restrict yourself from the carbs, the more stuck you feel. But that's why we're here today, because I'm not here to tell you to eat like you're 20 years old again. Nope, I'm not. But I am here to show you how you can eat smarter, you can make better decisions so that you're not restricting yourself. So, we're going to talk about what your body really needs and wants in this moment without giving up the foods you love. So, let me know what your favorite carb is. I'll tell you this. I love me some potatoes. My mama swore to the day she died that French fries was one of my favorite foods. Well, I'm sorry, one of my first words. We all know it's one of my favorite food, but she said that it was one of my first words. And it's because people love carbs. Carbs make us feel good, right? So we're going to talk about what your body is actually craving for right now and how to make it through this phase without starving yourself or gaining extra fat that we don't have to gain. All right. So if that's cool, type that's cool in chat. So let's talk about it. So let's break down this myth of having to cut carbs. We've been told that carbs, if you're eating carbs, then you're just going to gain weight, right? That's not what happens. What happens is when you cut out your carbs and you cut them out too drastically, again, your metabolism is slowing down. Let's be clear about something. Carbs are your body's natural source of energy. Now, I've talked before about how calories themselves, because we've talked about that before too, how too many people cut calories or cut too many calories, but then expect to still have energy to make it through the day when calories, by definition, are sources of energy. Now, what our body needs to get that energy for sure are the carbs. Now, when it comes to losing weight, toning up, so many people go for extra protein, and feel that they need to get rid of the carbs. This is the issue with that. When you cut the carbs, now your body is relying on protein for energy. Now, you might say, well, Crystal, I'm still getting energy, but now the protein can't do what it needs to do, which is support your muscle growth and support your muscles rebuilding themselves. So you might get this energy, right? You move and you lose, burning some calories, but guess what? You're losing muscle, so now you're getting skinny fat. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So that's why you need these carbs so that the carbs can do what they need to do and give you energy, and the protein is doing what it's supposed to do by supporting your muscle growth and rebuilding it. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense by typing yes or no, right? So what also happens is that when we're cutting out the carbs, now your body is like, wait a minute, ma'am, what's happening? And it starts to think that it's getting starved. I've talked about it before, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but I believe I forgot, it doesn't matter what her title was. It does and it doesn't. Anyway, keep up with me. But she talked about how when we stop eating, it puts our bodies in a certain level of distress. Let me back up. Stress does two things when it comes to losing weight. One, it makes it more difficult to burn fat and to lose weight. But two, it adds extra fat around your midsection. So it's a double whammy. So we know we don't want that. And I've known that, but I didn't really know the science behind it until recently. So basically, our body our bodies remember even things that didn't happen specifically to us, right? We talk about, you hear about generational trauma, but she was explaining that the body's first fear, its biggest fear, is starvation. So when you're not eating enough, you're not getting enough carbs, your body's like, whoa, wait a minute, we're not going to eat again. And it goes into a certain level of distress, right? So when that happens, your body is like, wait a minute, I just need to make sure I'm protecting her. Not fellas too, but protecting us. So that's why it gives extra fat around the belly, so that if you're not eating again, you still have those fat stores. Let me know if that's making sense. But what also is happening, because we're not eating carbs, we're not getting our sources of energy. We're not getting through our workouts, all of that good stuff. But because we threw our bodies into a certain level of distress, now our hormones are jacked up. Now our insulin levels are thrown off. And especially during menopause, that's happening anyway. So why push yourself through that even harder when your body's already naturally fighting? Yeah, I'm gonna say it, naturally fighting against you. I don't want to say that. It's changing. And that includes having extra hormonal imbalance. That includes that insulin imbalance. And then when you go on top of it, not giving your body the nutrients and the macronutrients that it needs, it makes it worse. So I want you to think about it. I've said a lot about your body being like your computer or your phone. If you're not using it, right, what does it do? It goes into sleep mode. That's what it does, to try to conserve energy. And that if it's in that state, then it cannot function at the full capacity that you would want it to. All right. So instead of depriving yourself of carbs, hoping and praying and wishing that that's going to help you flatten your belly and help you lose weight, what do I want you to do? Instead of that, I need you to think about choosing, or no, not think about, be intentional about choosing the right types of carbs. And I know that it's still a struggle for a lot of people to even accept that carbs are a good thing, because we've been programmed to believe that they're horrible for us, especially when it comes to weight loss and healthiness, blah, 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 blah. So you got to reprogram that. But you got to pick them the way they're supposed to be picked. Don't you go tell nobody that Coach Chris said go eat all the carbs. I didn't say that. It's about choosing the right ones. Now, we talk about bread. Bread isn't bad, but if you're eating a loaf of French bread, like a French loaf, that's all refined carbs. But should you get some whole grain wheat, whole grain, multi-grain bread, that's not bad for you, because you're getting fiber with it too, right? When you get these complex carbs, that's what we're going for. Instead of a regular white potato, get a sweet potato, get some quinoa, things like that, that are giving, oh shoot, fruits and berries. You're still getting your carbs, but you're getting that natural fiber with it as well. Now, this is the thing. Why is that important? One, when you have those complex carbs, it's giving you steady energy. Remember, I told you that carbs are your sources of energy. So when you have the refined carbs, that's when you get that sugar spike and then that sugar crash, because they're simple carbs. Simple means they burn up real fast, right? That's it. That's all. But when they're complex, they're all interwoven. We said interweaving. Interwoven, right? So it's gradually burning. It doesn't burn as easily because the thicker, in a sense. It helps you to visualize it that way. So it's still consistently giving you energy. So it doesn't burn off as fast. What is that doing? That's helping to also regulate your hormones. It's helping to regulate your insulin levels, so that you don't feel one, moody, two, also your body is more balanced itself, so that it's not in a state of distress and adding that extra fat. Let me know if that's making sense. So it's not the carb itself, it's the type of carb. It's the good quality carbs that you're looking for. Now, this was also important. When you have your carbs, because I said they're your sources of energy, what I don't want you to do is to say, oh, I need some energy and only have carbs. You should always, and I do mean always, pair all your macros together. You want your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. You need all of them, all of them. So you have your carbs, but then you also pair with your protein so that when you get that energy to get through your workout, that protein is coming right behind where you're getting the energy from the carbs, right? The protein is coming right behind and building those muscles, repairing those muscles, protecting those muscles from what you've been doing with this extra energy. And I hope this is making sense. So when you're looking at what types of carbs you're having, again, it's about the quality ones. Oh, oatmeal. I love me some oatmeal. I eat oatmeal 5 days a week. So when it comes to choosing how you can incorporate carbs into your diet, then think about maybe some oatmeal with some nuts and some berries, right? So you got your carbs, your protein, and your fats. That's going to give you way more energy to help you balance out your hormones, balance out your insulin, and help reduce that belly fat. That is going to help you way more than if you just have eggs and coffee for breakfast. Because we think, oh, I'm cutting carbs, so it must be better. No, it's not. No, it's not. So this is the thing. Right now, where we are in this stage of life, and when I say we, I'm talking to my perimenopausal ladies. Our bodies have just changed. And you already know that. You look in the mirror and you're like, ooh, this is not what it looked like 15, 20 years ago. And it won't be again. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you can't build a sexy, fly body, but don't expect it to be what it was in your 20s. So because we're not in our 20s anymore, we have to act like it and we have to adapt for what our body's actually looking for now. The problem that a lot of women face is they say, oh, when I was in my 20s, all I had to do was, let me know if this has been you. All I had to do was do this workout, or all I had to do was cut these carbs, and it worked. And now you're trying the same things and you're frustrated because guess what? It ain't working now. But that doesn't mean that you did something wrong. I'm having this conversation with you so that you can understand and hear that it's just that your body has changed. So it requires you to move differently. It requires you to look at things differently, act differently, behave differently, make different decisions that are actually going to get you to where you want to go. Because right now, with all the things that you have going on in your life, first of all, that's different from when you were in your 20s too. You're juggling work, family, doggone hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, all those things. The last thing you need right now is another diet to tell you don't eat carbs. Don't have something that you like. Again, it's about making better decisions. So what do I want you to do? I want you to practice and let me know if you've cut out carbs. Let me know if you notice that belly look different. If you've tried to cut carbs, reduce carbs, remove carbs, hear me out, okay? Instead of doing that, what I want you to do is to focus on just adding one complex carb a day, just to get started small. Because that's another thing too. We start seeing that our bodies are changing and it freaks us out. Might even depress us, annoys us, all of those things. So because those things are happening, we want to take drastic steps. We want to change all the things to try to figure out what our body is craving, right? When you try to change so many things, it can be a lot to balance and it can be stressful and depressing, all those things. So instead of doing all of that, I want you to do one thing. Just choose one thing. Add one serving of complex carbs back into your day. All right. What I also want you to do is to stop skipping breakfast. Just stop. Again, you need energy. So a small carb, small protein and some carb, mix that together, have a little combo, and actually helps give you energy. Also, keep drinking your water. Drinking water prior to eating will actually help your body digest the food better. It will help your body absorb the nutrients better. All of those things that are needed to help flatten that belly that you're not even thinking about, because you're just thinking, I just need to restrict carbs or I need to restrict calories, when that's not it. That's not it. It really is just a matter of how they all work together, if that's making sense. All right. So I just want you to try adding one good carb and type in like I mentioned a few, but let me know in the chat what like your favorite complex carb is, right? Like I said, again, don't go tell nobody I told you to go eat French fries that are fried in you deep grease. I ain't say all that. But I'll tell you this. Interesting is we hear about carbon up. And I had a drill sergeant before our PT test. He would love to eat a slice of pizza and drink a beer. That's how he got his carbs. I'm not telling you to get them carbs. You heard me say that was a drill sergeant. That was a he. And he was probably in his 20s or 30s. Ma'am, you ain't none of those. So trying that is not for you. That's not what I'm saying for your carbs. Not at all. But I'll say this. If you've been trying to figure out on its own, because you're looking down at your belly and you're like, I don't know what's happening. And even worse, I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to change it. I don't know what the heck is going on or how to slow this train down, right? I get that. A lot of women are in that place because you have been cutting carbs. You've been restricting yourself. You've been Googling like crazy. Maybe skipping meals, all in the hopes of something finally working. But it feels like your body is fighting you. It's not really fighting you. It's really just telling you what it needs and just what doesn't work anymore. And once you start listening to it, and once you start understanding how to listen to it, how to speak to your body and what your body is saying to you, everything will change. Everything will change. So that's exactly why I'm hosting. Well, not hosting, I'm leading it. Right? Those are things we're going to talk about in the 4-day coaching program that I'm doing next week. And it's free because I want to walk you through understanding what's going on with your body. Understanding what's going on with your body so that you can start making small tweaks that are going to get you huge, huge impacts and huge results, right? Because I don't believe in restriction at all. That includes calories, that includes carbs, right? So, but it's really about understanding what's going on with your body right now so you can finally start to feel better, finally start seeing the changes you've been looking for and getting that confidence back. Because what I absolutely know is that the more we fall down this rabbit hole of weight gain and inches all around the belly and extra fat, it can mess with your psyche. It really, really can. So I'm trying to help you get that back. Right. So that's just it's something I enjoy, right? Just sharing the information because I know I even went through that a couple years ago when I first started realizing that I was hitting perimenopause. I was like, what is happening this way? Because I was getting fat around my belly. So then that's when I really switched my focus. And it wasn't just about coaching women. It became about coaching women who are going through this phase, because it is different. What I say and do with a 25-year-old client is very different from a 55-year-old client, right? So just want to help walk you through that. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, you feel like this could be beneficial to you, make sure you go to losemenopauseweight.com. The link is in the description. We're starting on Monday. We start on Monday, October 27th. So I want you to go ahead and sign up now so that you can get all the updates, get the feedback, the replays, all of that good stuff. Make sure you also share it with other women in your lives. And my fellas, if you're catching this, hey, right? if you're catching this, share this with a woman in your life. Now, don't tell a girl you need this. You should go. That ain't the way to handle that. But hey, babe. Hey, sis. I think this could be helpful for you, right? So again, losemenopauseWeight.com. We're starting on Monday. It's a free 4-day coaching program. So for 4 days, I'll coach you through what's going on with your body, and not just that, but how to fix it. All right. So I'm gonna let y'all go because it's Friday. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. It's getting a little brisk, but it's a beautiful Friday afternoon. So I hope you are enjoying your day. You're wrapping up your work day, hopefully. I hope you enjoy your weekend. But please remember that if you have to go outside, please be safe because I want you healthy, I want you happy, and I want you here. So I will see you next time. Hopefully, I'll see you next week in the coaching program. Like I said, 4 days. It's free. 1 hour a day that I'm asking you to dedicate to yourself because I'm giving it to you, right? I'm dedicating this time to you. So give that hour to yourself. That's all you got to give. And let's see what we can do in those 4 days. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. See you later. Bye.